Welcome back, folks. Got all the wood delivered, so now I can start framing this thing up. So this will be enough wood to build the actual building and the porch that goes on the front here, all the way to the dried in point. All right, let's get started. Okay, you got these exterior walls all built, looking good. Got them just how I want them. Out here, as you can see, I put 12-inch wide, 8-foot long pressure treated wood. I do that all the way around the bottom. That just helps keep that bottom part of the house protected. A little bit extra protection there, which is good. And from there, I'll put OSB on, going up. These are 9-foot walls, 9-foot tall walls, I should say. So, looking good though, looking real good. Next, I'm going to start putting OSB on the walls and get them all the way to get it all the way to the top, and then house wrap it. Then we'll start doing this divider wall, which goes where those 4 studs are, and those 4 studs are. That'll divide the 2 units. But then I'll be able to start putting the ridge beam up there, so I can start building the rafters. All right, let's keep going on. What you do to lay out your wall, put your 2 boards just like this. You have them cut the same length, put them side by side, and you bring them up here just like this. Of course, these arrows represent which side of the board has the crown on it, and you check that by looking down the board like this, and you can see the crown. Anyway, then you lay it just like this, and then when you stand them up to nail them, that crown will still be out like that. And then when you get done building it, you'll stand up like that, and that crown will be to the outside of the wall, to the outside of the house, or whatever. All right, so you start on the board that it's on the bottom. Usually the bottom board is called the bottom plate, top board, top plate. Okay, so the 16 on the center, you don't mark the middle line. You go 3/4 of an inch back, 3/4 inch forward, and that will represent 1.5 inches. All right, and you just keep doing that all the way down. 132. You go back 3/4 of an inch, go forward of it 3/4 of an inch. You just do this no matter how long the board is, or your wall for that matter. So like even if you have, ouch, even if you have say like you're doing a 16-foot length of a building, and you're doing 2 8-foot walls for whatever reason, you just put both 8-foot boards, bottom plates, on the ground lengthwise, and just lay out your whole wall. Alright, That way the studs down that whole wall will be consistent. I like to use a speed square. It's easier to have on the job site. You can use it for a lot of things. And you just transfer that line over to your other board. Like so. And then I like to put an X on it. I can just see it. I can look at the board. Sorry about that. I can look at the board at a glance later on and see where I'm at. Okay, so that's pretty much straightforward. Okay, so there's your board. Looking at it, you can see where all the studs go now. Okay, so, and you know, you just keep doing all the way down. Okay, so let's say now that you're gonna have a window right here, okay? So, or a door for that matter, don't matter at this point. Okay, so let's just say at this 3 foot mark, you're doing a, let's say it's a window. So, we're gonna do 3 foot. Well, let's just say it's a door. Okay, so the door is gonna be, and there's an exterior door, so it's gonna be 3 foot wide. So you measure over, let's see, I'm at 36, so 3, 6, okay. So it's 3 foot, but you gotta go 2 inches bigger than that. So it's actually gonna be 74. All right. Yeah. And then I'm gonna go 3 inches. Past that, okay. This 3 inches represents 2 studs standing by each other. Okay. Then you mark that. And I just kind of split hair. It don't really matter because both boards are going to go there. Okay, but the important part is right here. Okay, so your one closest to the door is called the jack stud, and this one's called the king stud. Okay, the king stud is going to go all the way to the top. It's a solid board. The jack stud is going to go all the way to your header board. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a minute once we get done doing a little layout. Okay, so you do the same thing on this side. Okay. And see, even with that, you still have your studs marked in the middle. Even if this is a window, let's say it's a window, it's the same thing, except for a window. In my case, when I buy windows, my windows are actually a 1/2 inch smaller than the actual rough opening for my window. So if this was a window, let's say it was 3 foot, I would have done it exactly 3 foot and then do the same thing. Okay, so let's show you why all this goes on, okay? All right. So here's the door opening. So you already cut my stud bottom out, but so all that would have looked like this. I would have had it just like this. But see, now when I put this door together, see above the header, I still got my studs up there to where they go. So every 16 inches. Then I cut the door out, boom. You don't cut the bottom out until your wall's all up in place. But anyway, that's how it'll look when you get there. And then a window, see a window, same thing. This is your king stud, it goes all the way up. Your jack stud is going to support your header. I like to do mine tied in like this, but it's going to support the header right there. And of course, you underneath the window, you'll run the boards down to where they go. So if you can see, I marked these here too. Before I put that board in there, so that way, you know, these studs keep on going. So basically, you just keep all the studs going where they're going to go, regardless of where the window and door is. Alright, and let me show you something else. You always want to kind of think of a building like you're going to start from the left to right. So the front of the building is behind me. So this is the left wall, right wall. So you start with this wall first. Okay, so this wall, you can't see it now, but anyway, this wall went on first. So it's all the way to the edge of the slab. This one came, it's all the way to the edge of the slab, but it butts into this wall, okay? So the key is, when you do this wall, it's normal. You lay it out because it's gonna go all the way down. But let's say, you know, so there's two walls that go the length of your slab. The other two walls kind of sit inside of those two walls, but they're butted out to the outside of the slab. But they're inside, so it's inside this wall and it's inside that wall, okay? So when you lay out this wall, you don't start on this stud, okay? Your walls will be off, your studs will be off, you know what I mean? So let me show you what you do on that case. Okay, you literally just grab a board that's the same board that you're using, alright, and you just put it right here. You put it like that, right there. And then you'll start with using that board as your starting point, okay? And then you do your 16 on there and all that. So right here you can kind of see an example. So like if I started it right there and that 16 on the center, but then you go to the outside and put your board on, see, and you for like a 4x8 sheet, that sheet will not line up. Your studs will all be off. Okay, so you do it that way, and that'll work. When you come and put your piece of plywood starting right here on the outside of that wall, it'll go all the way down. And if you did it here, then your studs would line up, boom, 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 for that 4x8 sheet. Now, saying all that, like let's say you're in your house and like, oh, where's my stud at? I want to hang a picture, and you do this, okay? See, now if this was the if this is how you did it, you'd be like, okay, 16 inches out, I'd find my stud, right? But now let's say this wall is not like, let's say, I'm trying to get this to where it makes sense. Okay, so this is how that wall is. This wall is to the edge of the slab. This wall butts into it, okay? Like that. Okay. Well, as you can see right here, if I grab the outside of the wall, yes, it's 16 inches over to find the stud. But now that I'm inside the house and drywall's up and all that stuff, I'm like, where's my stud at? Oh, it's 16 inches over. Look, it's not 16 inches over, okay? You literally have to think. Trying to get my tape lock. Okay, you have to think, okay, I gotta go back 3.5 inches, right? 1, 2, 3. Well, in this case, you go back 3 inches. Should be 3.5. Hold on, my board over here moved. 1, 2, 3, and then half. There you go. See, you went back that far, and then you find the center of the stud. All right. So whenever you're trying to find a stud in your house, just think about that. If it don't, which is, it's never really going to work out from the wall, because of this reason right here. So just take off 3.5 inches and you'll find your stud. Alright, and if you still don't find your stud, then maybe they went the opposite way, like I did on this wall. I actually started the stud on this side and ran it that way. So I went like, started on the outside of that one, came over 16 and just went all the way down. And the reason I did that is because this pipe came up in the wrong spot. If I started on this side and went over here, my board would have been literally right where that pipe is. And I didn't want that, so I just like, you know what, I'll just flop it around. So if you ever can't find a stud in your house, you're going to be like, why can't I find a stud? Just think about it like, maybe they ran it the other way. And then of course, think of your outside wall like this. You know, part of the wall is beyond this wall, so you have to subtract the width of that wall thickness. All right, so There you go. That's how you do it. And you just do it all around the house, doing that theory. Just make sure you mark everything like you would no matter what. No matter what you're doing on the board layout, always mark 16 on center every time, no matter where you're doing. No matter if you come back and put a door or a window. Always have those. Always keep them. Because see, just like this right here, you got the X, that represents the 16 on center. KJ, that's my door or window. And that way you don't forget, oh yeah, because this could be your, matter of fact, let's say that happened. Let's say, for whatever reason, this became my regular 16 on center stud, became my king stud. Well, then I mark it like that. You know, it just makes me, okay, because this won't be here. Anyway, and you just know, okay, my king stud replaces the X, but you just know that, okay, I'm still 16 on center. And you just keep on going, 16 on center. But sometimes, most times it'll be like this, but sometimes it does replace it. Sometimes your jack will replace it. Anyway, sometimes it'll be just like that, like that. So see, I got 3 studs on that one, and I only have 2 over here. And that's because that's exactly what happened. My center stud just happened to fall right there before my king and jack stud. Okay, that's how you do it. Hope that helps someone out. Alright, there we go. Got these exterior walls all framed up. House wrapped. Looking pretty good. Show you the other side here. I would show you the back, but it's just plain Jane. Okay, so you got 2 doors here for 2 units. I got the divider wall in here done. Got it braced in the middle so that the middle of that wall is the same distance as the front and back. Same thing on that side over there. So got this all ready to start doing the roof on it, so that's good. But yeah, glad to be to this point. A lot of work going up and down the ladder once you start getting like the second layer of OSB, and of course nailing on all those top plates. A lot up and down on the ladder. So, but all right, well, I'm gonna end this video right here. So the next video, as I just said, it'll be I'll be putting the roof on. So I'm building rafters, so you'll see how I do that. And have a ridge beam down the middle, so that'll be exciting to watch, so look forward to that. And I got a lot of work ahead of me. All right, well, thanks for watching. Till the next one.